Have you ever noticed that the more you resist your pain, the stronger it seems to become? It's almost as if the very act of fighting against it gives it more power, more presence in your life. And today, I'm going to share something that might sound unusual at first, but I promise, if you open yourself to this wisdom, it has the power to change everything. What if I told you that your pain, whether it's physical, emotional, or mental, is waiting for you to communicate with it, not with fear or frustration, but with the wisdom of your deeper mind? Right now, within you, there exists a divine intelligence that knows exactly how to restore every cell, every tissue, and every troubled thought. I'm going to show you how to activate this intelligence through the simple, timeless practice of speaking directly to your condition. Stay with me, because what you're about to learn has transformed the lives of thousands of people, and yours can be next. By the end of this session, you'll grasp 3 life-changing truths. First, your pain, whether it's physical, emotional, or mental, is not your enemy. It's a signal, one that can be transformed. Second, you'll learn a precise spiritual method that countless people have used to address their conditions and witness them dissolve. And third, you'll understand why the divine power of healing has always been within you, simply waiting for your cooperation. I know many of you are suffering right now. Some of you face physical pain that seems untouchable by doctors, specialists, medication after medication, tests, scans, and procedures. Yet the pain persists. Others carry emotional wounds, rejection, betrayal, loss, or abuse that never seem to heal. And some of you are trapped in cycles of anxiety, depression, or fear, feeling suffocated by a weight you bear every single day. No matter what you try, you've tried therapy, prayer, books, advice, and even positive thinking. But still, the pain remains. You may even feel forgotten by God, punished for something you did, or convinced that you somehow deserve this suffering. Perhaps you believe this is just your fate, that relief is for others, but not for you. Let me be perfectly clear, you are not forgotten, you are not being punished, and you do not deserve this suffering. The reality is simple. You haven't yet learned the spiritual laws that govern true healing. That's not your fault. Most people never do. These laws aren't taught in schools, widely discussed in religious institutions, or commonly understood in modern society. They are ancient truths, often overlooked, but I'm here to share them with you. And when you understand and apply them, your life can change. For over 40 years, I've studied the connection between the mind and body, between beliefs and conditions, between words and experience. I've worked with thousands of people from all walks of life, rich and poor, educated and uneducated, religious and non-religious, young and old. And I've seen these principles work. Regardless of the condition, its duration, or the opinions of doctors, I've witnessed tumors vanish, chronic pain disappear, depression lift, broken hearts heal, and even people rise from beds they were told they'd never leave. This isn't about me having special powers. It's about understanding spiritual law, which functions for everyone, just as gravity or electricity does. When you understand gravity, you can use it. When you understand electricity, you can flip a switch and light a room. When you understand the spiritual law of healing, you can activate the divine intelligence within you and witness real transformation. Here's the crucial difference between what most people do and what actually works. Most people talk to themselves about their pain. They wake up cataloging their suffering. Oh, this pain is terrible today. I've always had it. It runs in my family. I guess I'll just have to live with it forever. They tell friends, family, and everyone they meet about their condition. They identify with it, making it their identity, and every word they speak reinforces the suffering, programming the subconscious to maintain it. Their subconscious mind hears, "Yes, this is who we are, this is reality. Let's keep it this way." What I'm about to teach you is entirely different. You'll learn to speak to your pain, not about it, with the authority of divine mind. You'll address the condition directly, understanding that there is only one healing power, one creative intelligence, one divine presence, and it is flowing through you right now. You're about to learn how to speak as someone who understands spiritual law, not as a helpless victim pleading for mercy. This is the difference between passive suffering and active participation in your healing. It's the difference between feeling powerless and becoming a conscious co-creator with divine intelligence. It's also the difference between years of unending pain and the possibility of transformation beginning today. Now, some people might assume this is just positive thinking or denial of pain. They may say, so you're just going to think happy thoughts and pretend everything's fine. That's not what I'm teaching. Your pain is real. I would never dismiss or minimize what you're experiencing. The discomfort you feel exists in your current reality. But here's the deeper truth. The divine order of healing is more real, more powerful, and enduring than any temporary condition. Your pain is subject to change. It can be transformed. Some people believe healing means pleading with God as if God were a distant figure deciding who gets healed and who doesn't. But that's not how divine law operates. God is not separate from you. God is infinite intelligence. The divine presence, the healing power, is within you right now. It's not outside you, nor does it withhold anything from you. It is you expressing through your life. You simply need to acknowledge this truth and align with it instead of resisting it through fear and doubt. Others believe healing requires years of therapy, ideal circumstances, or the perfect combination of external factors. They think, maybe someday when my life is less stressful, when I have more money, when I find the right doctor, then I'll heal. But healing doesn't depend on timing or conditions. It begins the moment you align your awareness with the infinite power that created you. Not tomorrow, not later, but right now. What makes this approach unique is that it's rooted in understanding how your subconscious mind operates and responds to suggestion. Your subconscious is the most powerful mechanism imaginable. It doesn't argue or analyze. It simply accepts what you tell it and works continually to bring those instructions into reality. When you speak to your pain with despair, saying things like, I'll never recover, or this is ruining my life, your subconscious accepts that as truth and maintains the condition. It says, all right, if that's what you believe, I'll make it so. But when you speak to your condition with conviction, faith, and awareness of divine truth, your subconscious accepts that instruction instead. It begins to manifest healing in alignment with that new belief. This isn't fantasy or blind optimism. It's spiritual law in action, a scientific process of mental and spiritual alignment. This is how the universe truly operates at its deepest level. I understand what it feels like to be trapped by pain. I've been there. There were times in my own life when I suffered deeply, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. I felt lost, confused, and abandoned. I asked the same questions you may be asking now. Why me? Why won't this go away? What did I do to deserve this? Will I ever be free? Is there any hope for me? I know what it's like to wake up feeling that heavy dread, wondering how to face another day. But I also know what it's like to realize that you are not powerless, not a victim. That within you lies a power greater than any illness, hardship, or diagnosis. I've learned these spiritual laws and witnessed them transform my own life. I've experienced the joy of seeing that same power change the lives of others who apply these truths with intention and awareness. That's what I want for you. Not just temporary relief or fleeting hope, but deep, genuine understanding. Understanding that leads to freedom, transformation, and peace. This is the kind of understanding that transforms everything. Not temporary comfort, but lasting, tangible results. The kind of change that a year from now will have you looking back and barely recognizing the person you were when you began this journey. Let me take you back to a moment that taught me the essence of true healing. Years ago, a man named Robert came into my office. He was a successful businessman running a company with hundreds of employees. Outwardly, he appeared confident, well-dressed, and in control. But the moment he sat down across from me, I could see the terror in his eyes. His hands trembled slightly, and his voice cracked when he spoke. He had just received a diagnosis that shattered his world. The doctors had found a tumor and given him a grim prognosis, 6 months, maybe a year. If he was lucky, aggressive treatment was recommended, but even then, the odds were poor. Robert was 52 years old, with a wife, 3 children, and a full life ahead. Now, he was being told it could all come to an end. He said, "Dr. Murphy, I'm a fighter. I built my business from nothing. 500 and a dream became a multi-million-dollar company. I've overcome every obstacle. When people said it couldn't be done, I did it. When competitors tried to destroy me, I survived and thrived. But this is different. How do you fight something inside your own body? How do you battle your own cells? I feel helpless, and I've never felt helpless before in my life." I could see he was approaching his illness the same way he approached business, as an enemy to be defeated through sheer willpower. And that's exactly what most people do. They declare war on their conditions. They resist, fight, and push back with all their might. But here's the problem. The more you fight, the more you reinforce it. What you resist persists. The condition becomes stronger in your consciousness. I looked at him and said something that stopped him in his tracks. "Robert, you don't fight it. That's the problem. Healing isn't a battle. The fight metaphor gives power to what you see as your enemy. Instead, you're going to learn to speak to it not as an adversary, but as something that can be dissolved through spiritual understanding." He looked at me skeptically. "Speak to a tumor? Are you serious? What would I even say?" He was a practical man, accustomed to concrete facts and figures. This sounded like mystical nonsense to him. I said, "Yes, I'm serious. I'll explain why this works and teach you exactly how to do it. If you follow this consistently and with faith, you will see results. I've seen it happen hundreds of times. These principles are based on how the mind works, how the subconscious responds to suggestion, and how consciousness creates experience. Over the next hour, I taught him what I'm teaching you now. I explained that within him exists a healing power that never sleeps, never grows tired, never quits. The same intelligence that created his body from two tiny cells, one from his mother, one from his father, knows exactly how to restore it to perfect order. This intelligence is not somewhere distant. It's present in every cell of his body, constantly working to maintain, restore, and heal him. I described how his body performs tens of thousands of healing processes every second. Heartbeats, blood circulation, breathing, cell regeneration, immune defense, all without conscious thought. This is divine order, the natural state of the body. Health, wholeness, and healing are the body's natural condition. The body wants to heal, is designed to heal, is programmed to heal itself. That's how the body works. But what blocks that natural healing are our thoughts, words, beliefs, fears, and doubts. When we say things like, "This tumor is killing me. I'm dying. This is hopeless." We're actually programming our subconscious mind against recovery. We're sending instructions that sustain or worsen our condition. Our words hold power. Our thoughts hold power. Our beliefs shape our experiences. I explained to Robert that he had to stop resisting and start aligning with healing. He needed to replace words of fear with words of divine authority. He had to understand his unity with infinite healing intelligence and speak from that awareness. Not as a frightened man named Robert with a tumor, but as a divine being connected to unlimited wisdom. I gave him a specific routine. Each night before sleep, when the subconscious is most open to suggestion, he was to sit quietly, close his eyes, take deep relaxing breaths, and speak directly to his condition. I provided the exact affirmations and told him to speak them with conviction, emotion, and complete certainty that the law he was invoking would respond. At first, he told me it felt strange, even foolish, to talk to his body or address a tumor as if it could listen. His rational, business-oriented mind kept insisting, "This is absurd. How can this possibly work?" But I had told him to persist, to continue regardless of discomfort or doubt. I reminded him that the conscious, logical mind doesn't perform the healing. The subconscious does. 3 weeks later, he returned for a follow-up examination. The doctors repeated the tests, then repeated them again because they couldn't believe the results. They even called in other specialists and rechecked the original scans to ensure no mistake had been made. But it was real. The tumor had shrunk dramatically, far beyond what should have been possible in such a short time without medical treatment. The doctors were astonished. They described the outcome as unusual, unexpected, and rare. When asked what he'd done differently, whether he had tried a new treatment, experimental drug, or alternative therapy, he told them about his nightly affirmations, about aligning his subconscious with spiritual truth and cooperating with divine healing order. Some doctors smiled politely. Others dismissed it outright, but the evidence was undeniable. 6 weeks later, another scan confirmed it. The tumor was gone, completely gone. After thorough examinations, they could find no trace of it. And finally, Robert heard the words he'd been waiting for. "You're in complete remission." They labeled it spontaneous remission, as if a medical term could explain the miraculous power of mind, belief, and divine intelligence. The doctors said, "Sometimes these things just happen. We don't fully understand why the body is mysterious." But Robert understood. He called it a miracle. I told him what I'll tell you now. It wasn't a miracle in the supernatural sense. It wasn't God intervening from above to heal him while others were left to suffer. It was the natural outcome of aligning with the divine order of healing that has always been present, active, and ready to restore balance. Robert had simply stopped blocking it with fear and started activating it with faith. Years later, I met him again. He was still healthy, still free of the tumor, but more importantly, he was transformed. His entire understanding of life had shifted. He had gained a deep awareness of reality and the creative power of consciousness. He no longer saw himself as a victim of circumstance, but as a conscious co-creator with divine intelligence. He realized that his outer world, including his body, reflected his inner world of thoughts, beliefs, and words. And once you grasp that truth deeply, you can never go back to feeling powerless. Now you might think that was an exception, that his situation was unique. You might say, that worked for him. But mine is different. My pain is deeper, my condition is worse. The doctors say mine can't be cured. But let me tell you about someone very different. A young woman whose pain wasn't physical at all. Her name was Sarah. Sarah was 28 years old, beautiful, talented, and full of potential. Yet, she was completely shattered. She had suffered a profound betrayal. Engaged to be married, she had built her entire future around a man she trusted completely. They had chosen a home together, discussed having children, and she believed in him wholeheartedly. Then she discovered he had been deceiving her for months, living a double life, and being unfaithful. Everything she thought she knew about their relationship was a lie. The engagement ended. The relationship was over, and Sarah was left in unbearable emotional pain. She couldn't sleep. When she did, nightmares woke her. Eating became impossible. Food lost all taste. Within a month, she lost 20 pounds. At work, she couldn't focus. She would break down crying in meetings without warning. She avoided happy couples and familiar places that reminded her of him. Half the city became a minefield of painful memories. What made it worse was the stagnation. Time passed, but the pain didn't fade. It stayed raw, sharp, and alive. Her friend said, "Time heals all wounds." But time wasn't helping her. In fact, she was growing worse, trapped in anxiety and despair, believing she'd never recover or trust again. When Sarah came to my office, tears streamed down her face. She said, "Dr. Murphy, I feel like I'm losing my mind. I can't get past this. Everyone tells me to move on, to forgive and forget, but I can't. The pain is still as strong as the day it happened. I'll never trust again. I'm broken forever. How can I heal from this? There's no surgery for a broken heart, no medicine for this pain. I'm trapped." I recognized the pattern immediately. She was reinforcing her suffering through her words. Each statement, "I'll never trust again. I'm broken forever. I can't move on," was a command to her subconscious mind. She was teaching it that her pain was permanent, programming herself to remain in anguish. The subconscious was responding faithfully, "Yes, this is who we are. We're broken. We can't heal." I looked at her and said gently, "Sarah, I know your pain is real. I understand how overwhelming it feels. I would never diminish what you're experiencing. Emotional pain can be as powerful and consuming as physical pain, sometimes even more so. But I need you to understand something essential. You are not broken. You're hurt. Yes, you're wounded, absolutely. But wounded and broken are not the same. A wound can heal, and it will heal when you stop telling it to stay." She looked at me puzzled. What do you mean telling it to stay? I'm not telling it to stay. I wanted it gone more than anything. I explained what I'm explaining to you now. With your words, you give your pain instructions. Every time you say, "I'll never trust again," you speak that into your future. Every time you say, "I'm broken forever," you program your subconscious to maintain that state. The subconscious doesn't argue. It doesn't question. It accepts what you impress upon it and works to manifest it. You are not a victim of what happened to you. Yes, what happened was terrible. Yes, he wronged you. Yes, you have every right to feel hurt. But you are not powerless. You can address this pain and transform it through the power of your consciousness. I taught her the same principle I taught Robert, adapted for emotional healing. I said, "You are going to speak to this pain. You will address your broken heart directly, not as something permanent, but as a condition that can be transformed by the healing presence within you. You must stop identifying with the pain and start identifying with the divine wholeness that is your true nature." She looked doubtful, but desperation made her willing to try. What did she have to lose? Nothing else had worked. I explained that she wasn't denying what happened. She wasn't excusing betrayal or pretending she didn't hurt. She was simply refusing to let pain define her future. There is a profound difference between acknowledging pain and surrendering your identity to it. I told her that every morning before getting out of bed and every night before sleep, she was to close her eyes and speak directly to the emotional wound, not angrily, not desperately, but calmly, firmly, with the authority of truth. She was to speak as someone who understands that divine intelligence governs her life. At first, it felt unnatural. The pain felt louder than the words. Her emotions protested. Her mind argued. She told me later that some mornings she cried while speaking, her voice trembling, her heart aching. But she persisted. And that persistence changed everything. Something subtle began to shift. Not dramatically at first. Not like a movie scene where pain vanishes overnight. But quietly, gently, steadily. The nightmares began to fade. Sleep came more easily. Her appetite returned. The constant tightness in her chest loosened. Thoughts that once triggered panic began to lose their emotional charge. Weeks passed, and the sharp pain softened. Months passed, and the wound closed. The memory remained, but it no longer controlled her. It no longer dictated her mood, her choices, or her future. She could think about the past without reliving it. She could imagine love again without fear. The pain that once defined her had dissolved. When she returned months later, she was radiant. Not because life was perfect, but because she had reclaimed her power. She said, "I understand now. I wasn't broken. I was healing. And once I stopped telling myself I was broken, healing took over." This is what happens when you stop speaking from fear and start speaking from truth. You don't just heal a symptom. You awaken to who you really are. Let me share one more story, because it reveals something deeply important about why this works so effortlessly for some and feels challenging for others. A mother once brought her young son to see me. He was about 6 years old and suffering from intense nighttime fear. Every night, he woke screaming from nightmares. He was terrified of the dark, afraid to be alone, afraid to sleep. Exhausted and anxious during the day, he had lost the carefree joy of childhood. Doctors found no physical cause. Therapy was suggested, which might help over time. But the mother wanted relief now. She had heard about my work and brought him to me as a last hope. I knelt down to his level and looked him gently in the eyes. "Do you know that God is with you all the time?" I asked. He nodded. "Do you know that nothing can hurt you when God is with you?" He hesitated, then nodded again, unsure but trusting. I told him something very simple. I said, "Before you go to sleep tonight, sit up in your bed and speak to the fear. Tell it that it has to leave. Tell it that God is with you and nothing can hurt you. Then lie down and go to sleep." That was it. No long explanations, no complicated techniques. Just truth spoken with simple faith. That night, he did exactly that. His mother later told me she listened from outside his room. She heard him speak clearly, confidently. Then silence. He slept through the entire night. No nightmares, no screaming, no fear. The next night was the same, and the next. Within a week, the fear was gone. Within 2 weeks, he no longer needed to speak to it at all. The condition had dissolved. Why did it work so quickly for a child? Because children have not yet learned to doubt. They do not intellectualize truth. They do not argue with it. They accept it. They trust it. They allow it. Adults struggle not because the law doesn't work for them, but because they resist it with skepticism, fear, and overthinking. The law is simple. Healing is natural. Resistance complicates it. This is why Jesus said, "Unless you become as little children, you cannot enter the kingdom." The kingdom is not a place. It is a state of awareness, a consciousness aligned with truth, and that consciousness heals. Now let me bring all of this together, because understanding what's happening beneath the surface will change the way you relate to pain forever. There is a divine order operating within you at all times. It is the same intelligence that formed you, sustains you, and heals you automatically. You do not make your heart beat. You do not command your lungs to breathe. You do not instruct cells to regenerate. Yet it all happens perfectly. This intelligence never fails. It never rests. It never forgets how to heal. Pain does not mean this intelligence has stopped working. Pain means something is interfering with its expression. And that interference is almost always fear, belief, and identification. Your subconscious mind is the interface between thought and body. It accepts impressions and carries them out faithfully. It does not judge. It does not reason. It does not question. It obeys. When you say, "This pain controls my life," your subconscious accepts that as a command. When you say, "I'll never get better," it treats that as instruction. When you say, "This is who I am now," it shapes your experience accordingly. But when you speak differently, everything changes. When you speak to your pain directly, you are interrupting the old pattern. You are asserting authority. You are reminding the subconscious of a higher truth. And the subconscious responds immediately, because it recognizes truth when it is spoken with conviction. This is not about shouting or forcing. It is not about anger or desperation. Authority is calm. Truth does not need volume. It needs clarity. When you speak to pain with the awareness that divine intelligence governs your body, you are not fighting the condition. You are dissolving it. You are not resisting. You are replacing. Resistance gives pain energy. Awareness removes it. Pain thrives on attention, fear, and identification. It weakens when you withdraw belief and replace it with truth. This is the secret Joseph Murphy taught for decades. This is why his teachings continue to transform lives. He understood that prayer is not begging. Prayer is alignment. Prayer is speaking from truth, not pleading from fear. When you speak to your pain once with full awareness, something shifts immediately. Even if the physical sensation lingers for a time, its power begins to fade. Its authority weakens. Its grip loosens. Because pain has no intelligence of its own. It responds to consciousness. And when consciousness changes, the condition must follow. You are not your pain. You are the awareness observing it. And the observer always has the power to change what is observed. Once you truly grasp this, you stop fearing pain. And fear is what sustains it. You begin to see pain not as an enemy, but as a message, a signal calling you back to truth. And once the message is received, the signal no longer needs to remain. Healing is not something you earn. It is not something you deserve or don't deserve. It is your natural state. Pain is the exception, not the rule. When you speak to your pain from this understanding, you are not trying to convince it to leave. You are reminding it that it never belonged, and it must obey, because divine order always responds to truth, and that truth lives within you now. You are not powerless. You never were. The moment you stop fighting and start speaking from awareness, healing begins, and once it begins, nothing can stop it. This is the power you possess within you right now. It is not something distant or foreign. It's not something you need to seek out in a distant place or hope will come to you one day. The healing power is right where you are, right in the midst of your experience. It has been there all along, waiting for you to recognize it, trust it, and use it. Every time you speak to your pain with the authority of divine intelligence, you are shaping your future. You are giving your subconscious a new instruction, And just like any powerful force, it begins to work instantly, aligning your body, mind, and spirit with that instruction. This power is accessible to you at any moment. You don't have to wait for the perfect conditions, the right time, or when life feels just right. Healing happens now in this moment, the moment you choose to align your consciousness with divine truth. Let me emphasize something here. Healing is not a process of forcing yourself to feel better. It's about allowing what is already true to manifest. It's not about pretending the pain doesn't exist or ignoring it. It's about seeing the pain for what it truly is, a temporary condition that cannot exist in the presence of divine order. Healing comes when you stop treating pain as an enemy, stop battling it, and simply let divine intelligence restore what was always meant to be. I understand how challenging this can be, especially when you're deep in the grip of pain. Whether it's the weight of emotional trauma or the burden of physical illness, it can feel like your world is collapsing. It's natural to resist. But the truth is, resistance only prolongs the suffering. The moment you let go of the fight and speak to your condition from the knowing that healing is already occurring, you open the door for true transformation. Every time you affirm divine truth, you are reinforcing the subconscious belief that healing is not only possible but inevitable. The more you repeat these affirmations, the more they sink into your subconscious and begin to shape your reality. Your body, mind, and spirit will begin to respond to the new instructions. Consider this: every cell in your body is constantly being renewed. Your body is always in a state of healing. Every day, millions of cells die and are replaced. The skin you're in today is not the same skin you were in last year. Every part of your body is constantly changing, regenerating, and healing itself. When you align your mind with the truth of divine order, that process of natural healing accelerates. Your thoughts, words, and beliefs guide that process. If you speak healing, your body responds. If you speak despair, your body holds on to it. The key is to align your words and thoughts with the truth of who you are, divinely created and divinely restored. There are those who may still doubt this method. They may wonder, but how could just speaking make a difference? Can words really change my condition? And I'll tell you this: words are not just words. Words are vibrations. They are carriers of energy. And when spoken with belief, intention, and conviction, they align your entire being with the energetic force that shapes your reality. You don't need to fully understand how it works, just as you don't need to fully understand how electricity works in order to flip a switch and light up a room. You just need to trust that when you align with divine truth, the healing power within you is activated. There's a profound story from ancient spiritual traditions that illustrates this beautifully. In the Bible, Jesus is depicted healing the sick, not with medicine or prayer, but with simple words. He would speak to the illness, telling it to leave. He didn't plead. He didn't ask. He commanded. He recognized the divine order within and spoke as one with the power to heal. Jesus understood that there was no separation between the physical and the spiritual. He understood that healing was not a magical act, but a natural result of aligning one's consciousness with divine truth. He spoke with the certainty that his words would manifest healing because he knew the healing power was already within him, as it is within you. The same power that created the universe, that keeps the planets in motion, that grows the trees and causes the oceans to rise and fall. That same intelligence is flowing through you right now. It is the foundation of all life, and it operates continuously without interruption. When you speak from that awareness, you speak with the power to bring about change. Let's talk about trust for a moment, because trust is the foundation of this practice. It's not just about repeating affirmations mechanically. It's about believing in the words you speak, aligning your inner belief system with the affirmation, trusting that the divine order that governs the universe is also the order that governs your body and mind. And the beautiful part is, you don't need to wait until you feel better to believe in this. The feeling will follow the belief. The more you speak with faith, the more your subconscious will align with that belief, and your body and mind will begin to reflect it. Trust the process, even when it's difficult. In the early stages, it may feel like the pain is too strong or the doubts are too persistent. But just as the seed in the soil doesn't sprout the moment you plant it, the changes within you take time. The more you practice, the more powerful your affirmations will become. And the more consistent you are in applying them, the faster the transformation will happen. This is a natural law that governs all creation. Now, think about your life a year from now. Imagine looking back at this moment, realizing that you took this step of faith and commitment. You transformed your relationship with your pain. You didn't wait for your circumstances to change first. You didn't wait for a miraculous healing to happen out of the blue. You made the change, and your body, mind, and life followed. I want you to know that your healing is already happening. Right now, as you absorb this message, your subconscious is being impressed with the truth. As you speak your affirmations, your inner world is shifting. It may not be immediately visible, but the seed is planted and it is growing. Trust that the divine intelligence within you is capable of bringing about the healing you desire. Trust that you are aligned with the creative force that brought you into being. Trust that all that is needed is your cooperation. I will leave you with this final affirmation. Say it often, write it down, keep it visible. Let it become a part of your daily consciousness. Divine order is at work in me now. Every cell of my body is filled with divine intelligence. Every atom of my being is alive with infinite healing power. I speak to every condition with the authority of the one mind, and all discord dissolves before the light of truth. I am whole. I am well. I am restored to perfect harmony. Divine order governs my body, my mind, my emotions, and my entire life. I rest in this truth and I'm at peace. Repeat this every day. When doubt arises, return to these words. When fear tries to take hold, remind yourself of your divine power. Let this truth sink deep into your consciousness and become your new reality. The divine intelligence within you is always active, always present, always ready to restore balance. And so it is. God bless you, my friend. Trust the divine order at work within you. Speak to your pain with authority. Watch it dissolve. And step into a life of healing, wholeness, and peace. Now, let's talk about faith for a moment, because faith is the energy behind the words. Faith is the assurance that the divine order already knows the way to your healing, even if your eyes can't yet see the results. Faith is the confident belief that no matter what the current condition looks like, it's temporary. Your healing, your transformation, your new life, they are inevitable. When you speak with true faith, you speak not out of desperation, but from a place of knowledge. Knowledge that your words are not just words, they are seeds. They are planting the future reality of your body, mind, and spirit. They are rearranging the very fabric of your being. And just like a seed grows into a tree, so too does your healing grow, quietly, steadily, but unavoidably. Don't let the momentary discomfort of doubt discourage you. This is a universal truth. The process of healing requires persistence. If you've been speaking to your pain for just a few days, don't expect to see immediate, dramatic changes in your physical body. Your words are creating a foundation for the subconscious to accept the truth, and that truth will gradually shift your physical experience. Healing is like the process of the seasons changing. You may not see the snow melting immediately, but as days pass, you begin to notice the warmth of spring. You may not see the bruises healing in the first moments, but over time they fade, leaving behind only the memory of the injury. It is the same with emotional wounds. The more you practice speaking with divine authority, the more your emotional state shifts into peace. The hurt that once felt permanent will gradually lose its power. The anxiety that once gripped you will slowly dissipate until one day you will realize that it no longer has a hold on you. Take this moment, right now, to truly affirm that healing begins in your mind. You've been given the tools, the words, the power to activate your healing. Let go of the belief that healing happens outside of you through the hands of a doctor, a pill, a treatment. Healing starts within you. It always has. And here's where you can begin. Right this very second, say to yourself, I am not my pain. I am not my illness. I am not my past. I am a divine being connected to infinite intelligence, and I claim my healing right now. I am whole. I am well. I am restored. As you say these words, feel them resonate in every part of your body, not just as empty words or hopes, but as a declaration, a command to your mind. Tell your body to return to its natural state of health. Let the energy of your words fill every cell of your being with light, love, and the power of divine order. You may wonder, how do I know if it's working? The truth is, you will feel it. You will feel lighter, freer, even if it's just in the smallest ways at first. You will feel a peace settle within you that wasn't there before. The more you align your mind with divine truth, the more your body will reflect that change. Healing doesn't come from fighting against the pain, pushing it away, or denying it. Healing comes when you stop identifying with it and allow the healing presence within you to restore balance. You are like a beautiful, perfectly designed machine made to heal itself, and the more you align with the truth of your divine nature, the more effortlessly your healing will flow. As you continue to speak to your pain with authority, you will notice the small victories. Anxiety may lessen for a few moments, pain may fade for a short while, or that negative thought that usually triggers despair might pass more easily. Celebrate those moments, no matter how small they may seem. Every victory is a sign that the process is working. Healing is a process, but one that is already underway the moment you start to speak the truth. Remember, the journey toward healing begins with acceptance. Acceptance doesn't mean resignation. It means that you accept the reality that healing is already happening within you. You accept that divine order is active, and with that acceptance comes the release of resistance, the resistance that holds you back from experiencing the transformation you deserve. It's so easy to fall into the trap of thinking that healing will take years or that it only happens when everything aligns perfectly. But that's not how divine law works. Healing begins the moment you choose to speak it. You've already taken the first step by choosing to hear this message, by allowing this truth to sink in. Now, take the next step and speak with authority to your pain. Speak to it as the divine being you are, aligned with the infinite power that created you. In doing so, you will begin to see that your pain has no more power over you. It is not your enemy. It's not something you have to fight. It's just a signal that can be transformed. When you speak directly to it, you are removing its power and allowing healing to take its natural course. There will be days when doubt tries to creep in. There will be moments when the pain feels too strong. But remember this, you are not alone in this process. The infinite healing intelligence that created you is always present, always working to restore you to balance. Trust that every word you speak with faith brings you closer to that truth. Trust that your subconscious mind is at work, aligning your body and mind with divine order. As you continue on this journey, I want you to remember this one powerful truth. You are not powerless. You are not a victim of your pain. You are a conscious co-creator with divine intelligence. The very intelligence that created the universe, that sustains life, and that knows exactly how to heal you, is within you right now. The pain that once seemed overwhelming, that once seemed like an unmovable part of your identity, is no longer the final authority. You are. Take a moment to breathe deeply. Feel the presence of divine intelligence all around you. Feel it flowing through you, nourishing every part of your being. Let that presence fill you with peace. Let it remind you that you are whole, that you are well, that you are restored. Now, as you go about your day, let this truth be your guide. Speak to your pain. Speak to any challenge you face. Speak with authority. Do not plead. Do not beg. Speak with the confidence of one who knows their true nature, and watch as the power of divine order begins to work within you. Watch as the pain fades, as the anxiety dissolves, as the wounds heal. You have the power to transform your reality right now, today. You are not just waiting for healing to happen. You are activating it. Trust in your power. Trust in the divine intelligence within you. Trust the process. And know with all your heart that your healing has already begun. Thank you for joining me in this transformative journey today. Continue to speak to your pain with love, faith, and divine authority. trust yourself, trust your power, and watch as your life transforms. You are whole. You are well. And so it is. God bless you. Now that you have learned how to speak to your pain, how to address it with divine authority, it's time to continue applying this principle. But before we go any further, I want you to reflect for a moment on the power of your own words. Words have energy, vibration, and power. When you speak, you are sending out ripples into the universe, and those ripples come back to you, often multiplied. Every word you speak carries an instruction to your subconscious. It shapes your reality. This is why speaking with intention and belief is so vital. Whether you're speaking about your health, your future, or even your relationships, the words you use shape your world. You have the power to change any area of your life simply by shifting how you speak about it. Now, imagine that your thoughts and words are like a seed planted in the soil of your subconscious mind. This seed is nourished by your emotions, your faith, and your conviction. If you plant seeds of healing, of restoration, and of divine order, they will grow and begin to manifest in your life. If, however, you plant seeds of doubt, fear, or despair, that's what will grow too. That's why we must make a conscious choice about the words we speak. It's easy to slip into negative thought patterns, especially when pain is involved. But the key is this: you are not your pain. Your pain is not who you are. It is not your identity. You are a divine being, a creation of infinite intelligence, and within you lies the power to heal. Every moment you reinforce the truth with your words, you are planting a garden of healing within your subconscious. Let me ask you, what do you want to grow in your life? When you say, "I am healing," you are reinforcing the divine order within you. When you say, "I am well," you are aligning with the highest state of being. When you say, "Divine intelligence is healing me now," you are acknowledging the truth of who you are, a being of divine intelligence, in perfect alignment with the universe. So I want to encourage you to speak often. Speak to your pain. Speak to your emotions. Speak to your body. But do not speak as someone pleading for mercy. Speak as someone who knows their worth, who knows their connection to infinite intelligence, who knows that healing is their divine birthright. Speak with authority. Speak with conviction. There may be days when the old thought patterns arise, when the mind wants to remind you of the pain, when the doubts want to creep in. But you have the power to change the narrative. When these negative thoughts arise, acknowledge them, but do not engage with them. Instead, turn your focus to the truth you are declaring. Say, "Divine intelligence is restoring me now. I am healing. I am whole. I am free." Say it with conviction. Say it with trust. Say it with faith in the process. When you speak in this way, you align your mind with the law of divine order. And remember, divine order is always at work, always active, always present. Healing is not a future event. It is happening now, in this very moment. The key is to recognize it, to believe in it, and to speak it into being. As you continue to practice this, know this truth: healing is inevitable. It may take time, and that's okay. Be gentle with yourself. Healing isn't a race. It is a process, but it is a process that always leads to wholeness. And every day, as you speak with divine authority, you are getting closer to the reality you seek. I want you to take a deep breath right now. Allow yourself to feel the peace that comes with this knowledge. Your body, your mind, and your spirit are all aligned with the healing power within you. It's working in ways you can't yet see, and that's okay. Healing happens in the unseen realms first, and soon you will begin to see it in the physical realm as well. The more you speak to your pain with this faith and authority, the less power it has over you. It begins to dissolve, just like darkness vanishing when the light is turned on. Darkness has no power of its own. It simply fades away when the light enters. The same is true for pain, illness, and emotional suffering. They are temporary. They cannot stand in the presence of truth. You are that truth. You are the light that shines in the darkness. You are the divine intelligence that heals, restores, and renews. And as you continue this journey of healing, trust the process. Trust that the power to heal is within you. Trust that the divine order is already working. Trust that every word you speak, every affirmation you make, is bringing you closer to perfect health, perfect peace, and perfect wholeness. This is your birthright. This is the truth of who you are, and with that, you can rest in the knowledge that healing is already yours. Your transformation is happening right now. The journey may have begun with pain, but it will end in peace, restoration, and a profound understanding of your divine nature. And from that place of understanding, you will carry this wisdom forward in all areas of your life, living not as a victim of your circumstances, but as a powerful co-creator with divine intelligence. Every time you speak to your pain, you speak to your power. Every time you affirm your healing, you are affirming your connection to the divine. And every time you claim your wholeness, you are declaring to the world that you are not defined by your suffering, but by your divine potential. You are whole, you are well, and you are healed. Now, go forward with confidence, knowing that the divine healing power is within you. Speak to your pain with authority, trust in the process, and watch as your life transforms in ways you never imagined possible. I bless you with the peace that surpasses understanding. I bless you with the knowing that divine intelligence is guiding you. I bless you with the courage to continue on this path and to speak to your pain with the full knowledge that it has no hold on you. You are healed, you are whole, and you are divine, and so it is. As you go through each day, remember this healing is not a one-time event. It is a continual, ongoing process that unfolds as you consistently apply the principles of divine order to your life. You are constantly working with the infinite intelligence within you, reprogramming your subconscious mind, redirecting your thoughts, and reinforcing the truth of who you are. Let me say that again, you are constantly working with divine intelligence. Every time you speak your affirmations, you are planting seeds of healing that will grow over time. Healing doesn't happen overnight in all cases, but every day that you affirm your well-being, your body is aligning itself with that truth. The change is happening, even if you don't see it yet. The key is consistency. When you choose to speak the truth of your healing each day, you're training your subconscious mind. Think of it like building a muscle. The more you exercise the muscle of divine truth, the stronger it becomes. And just as a muscle requires regular, focused effort to grow, so does your mental and spiritual strength. If you could only see what is happening beneath the surface, the quiet, subtle shifts taking place within you. Every time you reject the thought of illness, every time you affirm your wellness, you are rewiring your brain, reshaping your body's response, and opening yourself to greater healing. But it's also important to remember that healing doesn't always happen in the ways we expect. Sometimes, healing doesn't just manifest as physical relief. It could come in the form of emotional freedom, peace of mind, or clarity in relationships. It could come as a new perspective on life, where you no longer feel burdened by the weight of past experiences. When you speak with authority, you are not just healing your body, you are healing every aspect of your life. Healing is holistic. It impacts your mind, your emotions, your relationships, and your spirit. It reaches far beyond the physical realm. As you continue to speak truth into your life, you may start to notice that your entire world begins to shift. The people around you may change. You might feel more peaceful, more joyful, more connected to those you love. Your circumstances, although they might not change overnight, will begin to align with the truth you are speaking. And here's the beauty of this process. When you heal one part of yourself, you heal all parts of yourself. When you begin to address the pain, whether physical or emotional, you open the channels for healing in every area of your life. The ripple effect is undeniable. Healing is never isolated. It spreads into every corner of your existence, touching everything it comes into contact with. Now, I want to take a moment to address one of the biggest misconceptions that many people have about healing. It's not about perfection. Healing is not about eradicating every flaw or imperfection in your life. It's not about expecting yourself to be completely free from pain or struggle. Healing is about accepting your wholeness in the midst of it all. It's about recognizing that, while there may be challenges, You have the divine power to face them with peace, wisdom, and strength. Even as you speak the truth of your healing, there may be moments of discomfort, or moments when you feel discouraged. That's okay. Healing doesn't require perfection, it requires commitment. It requires trust. And most importantly, it requires patience. You see, sometimes healing is a journey, not a destination. There may be days when you don't feel better, or when the pain seems to resurface. But when you know the truth of who you are, when you understand that the power of healing is already within you, those moments of discomfort become temporary. They become stepping stones on your path to greater peace and freedom. So, when you find yourself in moments of doubt or fear, I encourage you to gently remind yourself of this truth. Healing is a process, and I am in it. You are not alone in this. Every step you take toward healing is a step toward reclaiming your power. Every time you affirm divine order, you are calling forth the very energy of the universe to align with your highest good. You are not just waiting for healing to occur, you are actively participating in it. You are choosing it. You are claiming it. And the more you claim it, the more your mind, body, and spirit will align with that claim. The more your subconscious will begin to accept that healing is already happening. So, even when the world around you seems uncertain, when the physical symptoms persist for a time, remember you are shaping your reality through your words, your beliefs, and your alignment with divine intelligence. Healing isn't something you do once and then forget about. It's an ongoing practice. It's a way of living, breathing, and being. It's a reminder that every single day you have the power to speak healing into existence. Every single day you have the ability to claim your wholeness. You have the power to change your story. You have the power to speak to your pain, your illness, your fears, and to dissolve them with the truth of divine order. You have the power to release the old patterns of suffering and step into a new, empowered version of yourself. This is the most profound secret Joseph Murphy ever shared with the world. Your words are creative. They shape your reality. And when you speak from the authority of divine truth, your pain, your illness, your suffering must dissolve. It's as simple as that. Let me leave you with this powerful thought. You are not defined by your pain. You are not defined by your struggles. You are defined by the divine intelligence that is working within you, that is sustaining you, that is guiding you to your perfect wholeness. And every time you speak to your pain with the authority of divine mind, you are claiming your healing. You are declaring that you are whole. You are declaring that you are well. You are declaring that divine order governs every cell in your body. So, go forward today with the knowledge that you are healing. Your body is responding to the truth of your words. Your spirit is aligned with divine intelligence. Your mind is being reprogrammed for peace, for health, and for harmony. And no matter what challenges may come, you know that healing is already taking place right now, in this very moment. Trust in that. Trust in your power. Trust in divine intelligence. And trust in the truth that you are, always have been, and always will be whole. As we continue to deepen our understanding of this healing process, let's revisit the spiritual law that governs all things, including your body, mind, and spirit. You see, the universe operates on laws, unchanging, eternal, and always in effect. Just as gravity operates universally without exception, so too does the law of healing. The divine order that governs your life is ever present, always active, and continuously at work. The key, however, is to recognize it, to align your thoughts, words, and beliefs with this order. When you align yourself with spiritual truth, you automatically tap into the infinite healing intelligence within you. But if you resist this truth, if you continue to identify with pain, suffering, or limitation, you block that healing power. This is the law of mind and body in action. Think about it for a moment. How many times have you heard people say, "I've always had this pain," or "It runs in my family," or "This is just how it's always been"? These statements, though spoken in seemingly innocent ways, are in fact reinforcing the belief that the condition is permanent, unchangeable. Every time you speak like that, you're programming your subconscious to believe that this condition is your reality. But when you choose to speak differently, when you say, I am whole, I am healing, I am free from this pain, you are activating a new program. You are reprogramming your subconscious to align with divine order, with the truth that healing is your natural state. And remember, healing doesn't come from fighting the condition. Healing comes from aligning with the divine intelligence that is already within you. It's about acceptance, not resistance. It's about speaking from truth, not from fear. And when you speak from that truth, your words become powerful tools for transformation. Now, I want you to take a moment and reflect on something deeply important. Who are you really? Are you the pain you feel? Are you the struggles you've encountered? Or are you something far greater, the divine expression of intelligence, wisdom, and love? When you identify with your pain, you're giving it power over you. You're saying, this is who I am. But when you recognize that you are not your pain, you are free. The very moment you stop identifying with your pain and begin identifying with your divine nature, you are setting yourself free. The truth is, you are a divine being. You are made in the image of infinite intelligence, and this intelligence is always at work within you, seeking to restore balance and harmony. It is the same intelligence that created your body, that designed your mind, and that continually supports you in every moment. But for this intelligence to work through you, you must align your thoughts with it. You must choose to see yourself not as a victim of your circumstances, but as a co-creator with the divine. You are not helpless. You are not a passive observer of your life. You are an active participant in creating the reality you experience. The more you align with divine intelligence, the more you will begin to see results. Healing doesn't always happen in the ways you expect. It may not be a dramatic, instant shift, but like the process of growing a tree, change will come. Slowly but surely, your thoughts will shift, your emotions will settle, and your body will begin to reflect the peace and healing that you have activated. It's like planting a garden. At first, the seeds are tiny and invisible, but with care, attention, and patience, the roots grow deep, and soon you'll see the flowers begin to bloom. In the same way, your healing may start as an unseen process, but over time, you will begin to see the fruits of your faith and commitment. Let's also talk about the role of gratitude in your healing journey. Gratitude is one of the most powerful forces in the universe. When you express gratitude, you're acknowledging the good in your life, and this acknowledgement activates more good. When you give thanks for your healing, even before it fully manifests, you are affirming its reality. When you express gratitude for the divine intelligence working within you, you are sending a powerful signal to the universe, saying, I believe. I trust that healing is already underway, and I give thanks for it. Gratitude magnifies the healing process. It reinforces the truth that healing is happening, and the more you express gratitude, the more the universe will respond in kind. Now, I want you to think about this for a moment. What would your life look like if you fully embraced this truth? What if you woke up every day knowing, with complete certainty, that healing is working through you? What if you no longer allowed fear or doubt to control your thoughts, and instead, you consistently spoke healing into your life? The truth is, your healing is already here. It is not something you need to wait for. It is not something that is out of your reach. Healing is happening now through every affirmation you speak, through every thought you align with divine truth, through every moment you choose to trust in the infinite power within you. If you commit to this practice, if you commit to speaking to your pain and transforming it through the power of your words, you will witness real, tangible change. Not just in your body, but in your life as a whole. Remember, you are the creator of your reality. You are not a passive observer. You are an active participant, shaping your world with the thoughts you think, the words you speak, and the beliefs you hold. The more you align with divine intelligence, the more you will see the world around you reflect that alignment. Your body is designed to heal itself. Your mind is capable of reprogramming itself. Your spirit is whole, and you are fully equipped to activate this truth in your life. And so, I want to leave you with a final message: trust the process. Trust that the divine order of healing is at work in you. Trust that as you speak with faith and authority, your life will begin to transform. Trust that healing is not something far away, but something that is already happening within you. And most importantly, trust that you have the power to heal yourself. As you continue on your journey, remember you are a divine expression of intelligence, wisdom, and love. Healing is your natural state. And when you align your thoughts, your words, and your beliefs with divine truth, you will experience the transformation you seek. Let this knowledge be your guide. Speak to your pain with authority. Affirm your healing. Trust in divine intelligence, and watch as your life unfolds in perfect harmony, and so it is. At a certain point on this path, something profound happens. You stop trying to heal, you stop striving, you stop forcing outcomes, and instead you begin to rest in a deeper knowing, a knowing that healing is not something you chase, but something you allow. A knowing that the power you've been seeking has never been absent. It has simply been waiting for recognition. This is the quiet turning point where true transformation takes place, when you no longer wake up asking, "Is it gone yet?" When you no longer measure your progress by symptoms alone, when you no longer define yourself by what still hurts. Instead, you begin to feel anchored in something deeper than sensation, something steadier than circumstance, something untouched by pain. You begin to identify not as a body trying to heal, but as consciousness allowing healing to express itself. And from that place, change accelerates naturally, because the greatest obstacle to healing has never been the condition itself. It has always been the belief that the condition had authority over you. Once that belief dissolves, the condition loses its foundation. This is why so many people experience sudden shifts, not because the body suddenly learned how to heal, but because the mind finally stopped interfering with what was already trying to happen. Your body has always known what to do. Your nervous system has always known how to regulate. Your cells have always known how to return to balance. Healing was never missing. Permission was. And that permission is granted the moment you stop arguing with life and start aligning with it. You may notice that as this awareness settles in, your relationship with pain changes. Pain no longer feels like a threat. It feels like a signal that has already served its purpose. Something that doesn't need to shout anymore because it's finally been heard. You become less reactive, less fearful, less tense. And in that relaxed state, healing has room to breathe. This is why peace is not the result of healing. Peace is the cause of it. The moment you stop tightening against your experience, your body responds. The moment you stop bracing for the worst, your system begins to reorganize. The moment you stop identifying with suffering, suffering loses its identity. This is not something you force. It is something you remember. Remember who you are beneath the symptoms. Remember what has always been true beneath the fear. Remember the intelligence that has never left you. And as you remember, your life begins to rearrange itself around that truth, not because you demanded it, but because truth, once acknowledged, expresses itself naturally. This is the divine order Joseph Murphy spoke of, not a mystical abstraction, not blind optimism, but an intelligent, responsive principle that works when it is no longer resisted. You were never meant to live in constant struggle with your body. You were never meant to negotiate with pain. You were never meant to fear your own sensations. You were meant to lead them. And leadership does not shout, it does not panic, it does not fight. Leadership is calm, certain, grounded. When you speak from that place, even once, something shifts at the deepest level. The subconscious listens, the body responds, the nervous system settles, and the condition begins to unwind, sometimes gently, sometimes quickly, always intelligently. And as this unfolds, you may notice something even more meaningful than symptom relief. You feel more yourself, more present, more alive, more connected, not because life became perfect, but because you stopped being at war with it. This is the real healing, the kind that lasts, the kind that changes how you experience everything. And once you touch this state, you don't need to convince yourself anymore. You don't need constant reassurance. You simply know. You know that whatever arises can be addressed. You know that no condition defines you. You know that divine intelligence is not something you hope for, it is something you live from. And from that knowing, your life continues to unfold in harmony, not because you are special, but because this law is universal. It works for anyone who stops resisting it. It works for anyone who chooses awareness over fear, truth over habit, alignment over struggle. And now that you've encountered this understanding, something irreversible has begun. You may forget it at times. You may doubt it occasionally, but it has been planted, and truth, once planted, always grows, quietly, faithfully, inevitably. You are not broken. You were never broken. You were simply remembering. And as you continue forward, this remembrance will deepen, until one day you look back and realize that the pain that once defined your life no longer has a voice, not because you fought it, but because you outgrew it. And that is divine order in action. As you move forward on this journey of healing, I want you to hold one central thought close to your heart. Healing is not just about getting better. It's about becoming more aligned with who you truly are, your higher self, your divine essence. It's about remembering that you are not merely a body in pain, but a consciousness with the power to transform. A soul that is always whole and connected to the source of all life. When you begin to live from this understanding, you realize that every challenge, every painful moment, and every obstacle is simply an invitation for you to step deeper into your truth. Your pain, whether physical, emotional, or mental, is not your enemy. It's a messenger, an opportunity for you to reconnect with the divine intelligence within you. And when you answer that call, you start to see that nothing is permanent, not your pain, not your fear, and certainly not your suffering. As you practice speaking to your pain with authority, you're not just addressing a symptom. You're shifting your entire reality. You are telling your subconscious that you are no longer a victim of circumstances, but a co-creator with the divine, capable of bringing about a profound change with your thoughts, words, and intentions. And so, day by day, you begin to notice changes. They may start small, perhaps a slight easing of discomfort, a moment of peace amidst the chaos, or a feeling of hope where there was once despair. These are signs that you are aligning with divine order, that you are opening the door for healing to flow into every area of your life. But don't be discouraged if the results seem slow at first. Healing is not a race, and it's not something that can be rushed. It's a process that requires patience and faith. Sometimes, the most significant shifts happen when you least expect them. The more you remain consistent in your practice, the more your subconscious will accept the truth that healing is inevitable. The most important thing is that you trust the process. Trust that, even when you can't see immediate results, the divine intelligence within you is working behind the scenes, rearranging your cells, your thoughts, your beliefs, and your energy to bring about the healing you desire. Trust that you are always moving closer to the truth of your wholeness. As you trust the process, you may begin to notice a deepening sense of peace. Your body may feel lighter. Your thoughts may become clearer, more focused on what you want rather than what you fear. You may find that the pain no longer holds the same power over you, that it starts to lose its grip on your identity. In those moments, take a deep breath and acknowledge the healing that has already begun. You are living proof that divine intelligence is always at work within you. The more you speak the truth of your wholeness, the more your life will reflect that truth. And as your reality begins to shift, you'll see more and more evidence that healing is already taking place. It's important to remember that you are not trying to force healing to happen. You are simply allowing it. You are creating the space for it by speaking the truth, by releasing fear and doubt, and by trusting in the divine intelligence that is always present within you. You are a vessel of healing, a conduit for divine energy. And as you stay open and aligned, that energy flows through you, bringing restoration, peace, and wholeness. As you continue this practice, you will also notice something else happening. Your relationship with your pain will change. No longer will it define you. No longer will it control your thoughts or actions. Instead, it will become just one aspect of your experience, temporary and passing. Like a cloud moving across the sky, you will no longer be in conflict with it. You will simply allow it to pass, knowing that it is not your permanent reality. This shift in perspective is one of the most powerful aspects of healing. When you stop identifying with your pain, it loses its hold over you. When you stop resisting it, it has nowhere to go but away. The more you align with the truth of your divine nature, the less room there is for the illusion of pain to exist. And as your perspective shifts, so will your experience of the world. You will begin to see your life through new eyes. You will begin to recognize the beauty in every moment. Even in the midst of challenges, you will see yourself not as a victim of circumstances, but as a creator, as someone who has the power to transform any situation, any condition, and any experience with the power of their words, their thoughts, and their beliefs. This is the true nature of healing, not a temporary fix, but a transformation that occurs at the deepest level of your being. When you realize that healing is a natural, ongoing process, you start to live differently. You stop waiting for something outside of you to change, and instead you realize that the power to change your life is already within you. Healing becomes a way of being, a way of thinking, speaking, and living. It's not something you do once or twice, but something you embody. You begin to live from a place of peace, knowing that you are always healing, always growing, always expanding. And as you embody this truth, the world around you shifts. Your relationships improve, your circumstances align. Your life becomes a reflection of your inner transformation. So, as we come to the end of this message, I want to remind you, healing is always available to you. It's not something that's out of reach. It's not something you have to chase or struggle for. It's already within you, waiting for you to claim it. When you speak to your pain with authority, when you speak to your fears with confidence, when you speak to your body with love and compassion, you activate the divine intelligence that is already at work within you. And as you do this, you will witness the miraculous transformation that is possible when you align with divine truth. And so I invite you to take a moment now and affirms, I am healing, I am whole, I am aligned with divine intelligence, and I trust in the process of healing that is unfolding in my life. Say it with certainty. Feel the truth of these words resonate in every cell of your being, and know that as you continue on this journey, you are not alone. You are supported by the infinite intelligence within you, guiding you toward your complete and perfect healing. Now, go forward with confidence, knowing that you are the creator of your reality. You have the power to transform, to heal, and to live in alignment with the truth of who you are. You are whole, you are healed, and so it is. When you begin this journey, you might feel a sense of excitement, perhaps even awe at the possibility of transformation. But there's also a deeper, quieter aspect to this process that you'll discover over time. Healing is a return to your true self. It's a journey of remembering who you are beyond the pain, beyond the stories you've been told, and beyond the identity you've attached to your experiences. Healing isn't just about overcoming illness. It's about uncovering the truth that has always been within you. It's about awakening to the reality that you are not defined by your circumstances or your condition. You are not the labels the world has given you. You are an expression of divine intelligence, a being of infinite possibility, and the moment you remember that, everything shifts. Now, I want you to stop and think for a moment, how often do you forget your true nature? How often do you allow external circumstances to define your inner state? How often do you identify with your pain, your diagnosis, or your limitations, rather than recognizing the truth that you are already whole? The path to healing requires you to step away from identification with those labels. You are not your pain. Pain is not who you are. Your true identity is much greater than anything you've ever experienced. Healing happens when you let go of the old beliefs, the old stories, and the old identities that no longer serve you. It happens when you stop clinging to the past, to the hurts and the pain. Healing comes when you step into the truth of who you are and allow your natural state of wholeness to emerge. So, as you continue this practice, I encourage you to take some time each day, whether through meditation, prayer, or simply moments of quiet reflection, to remind yourself of your true nature. Speak to yourself with love, with compassion, and with an open heart. Speak the words of healing, not just to the condition, but to yourself. You are the divine expression of perfect health, and as you begin to fully internalize this truth, you will begin to notice that your relationship with your body, with your mind, and with your life transforms. You become more attuned to the presence of divine intelligence. You no longer see yourself as separate from the healing process. You recognize that healing is not something you wait for or chase. Healing is something you align with. It's something you embrace. As you align with this truth, you will see the world around you shift. Healing is not a passive act. It requires active participation, a willingness to trust the process, to have faith, and to fully engage with your own inner wisdom. It requires you to honor your body, to honor your emotions, and to recognize that they are all part of the divine flow of energy that is moving through you at every moment. Every day, as you affirm your healing, as you speak with authority to the condition, you are not just healing your body or your mind. You are healing your relationship with life itself. You are opening the door to new possibilities, to new experiences, and to a greater sense of peace and harmony. I want you to know that this journey is yours, and it is unique to you. There's no one else who can walk this path for you, but there is a deep knowing that you don't have to walk it alone. Divine intelligence is always present, always supporting you, always guiding you. And as you continue to speak the truth of who you are, you begin to experience this guidance more clearly. You will notice synchronicities, signs and shifts that reaffirm the truth of your divine nature. Remember, healing is a process of surrendering to the truth, not forcing it. You don't have to make anything happen. Healing happens when you stop trying to control the process and allow divine intelligence to take its natural course. The more you surrender, the more healing will flow through you. Trust that every thought, every word, and every action you take in alignment with divine truth is drawing you closer to the experience of total healing. As you continue on this path, I want you to remember one last thing: you are never alone in your healing. The divine intelligence within you is always at work, whether you are conscious of it or not. It never sleeps. It never gives up. It is constantly repairing, restoring, and renewing. And as you make the choice to cooperate with this divine intelligence, your healing accelerates. So, here is my invitation to you: commit to this process daily. Make it a non-negotiable part of your life. Each day as you wake up, affirm your healing. Speak the words with authority. Speak them with belief. Speak them as if they are already true, because in divine reality they already are. When you go to bed at night, speak your truth again before sleep takes over. Let your subconscious mind marinate in these healing words, absorbing them, aligning with them, and setting the stage for the healing that is already taking place. Over time, this commitment will pay off. You will see the shifts. You will feel the changes. And most importantly, you will feel a deep sense of peace that transcends whatever is happening in your body. That peace is the most powerful healer of all. And I want you to know this: you are capable of miracles. Not because of anything outside of you, but because you have the divine intelligence within you. And when you align your mind with the truth of who you are, that intelligence will guide you to a life of health, wholeness, and peace. As we wrap up this message, I want to leave you with this powerful affirmation, something you can carry with you every day: I am whole. I am healed. I am aligned with divine intelligence, and I trust in the process of my healing. Divine order is restoring balance to my mind, my body, and my life. I am free from pain. I am free from limitation. I am whole, healed, and at peace. Repeat this affirmation daily. Say it with conviction. Speak it as though you already embody it. Because in truth you do, and so it is. As you continue on this path of healing, there is one more key principle that you must remember: healing is a reflection of your consciousness. Everything you experience in your life, from your health to your relationships, is a direct reflection of the beliefs and thoughts you hold in your subconscious mind. If you hold beliefs of limitation, doubt, or fear, these will manifest in your body and your life. But when you choose to align your thoughts with divine truth, when you choose to believe in your innate ability to heal, everything shifts. This is why healing is a spiritual practice. It's not just about applying physical treatments, taking medications, or undergoing procedures. Those things can be supportive, but the true healing comes from within. It comes from your belief that healing is possible. It comes from your faith in the divine intelligence that is always at work within you. When you make the choice to believe in your own power to heal, you open the floodgates for divine healing to flow through you. It is this inner shift that allows you to transcend your current reality. When you stop seeing yourself as a victim of circumstances, when you stop seeing yourself as a passive recipient of pain, you reclaim your divine authority. You begin to recognize that you are a powerful being capable of influencing every aspect of your life, including your health. This is your birthright. So, I encourage you to look at every experience in your life, from the smallest discomfort to the largest challenge, as an opportunity to reaffirm your healing. When you feel pain, don't resist it. Don't push against it. Instead, speak to it. Acknowledge it, but remember it is not you. It is simply a temporary condition. And as you speak to it with authority, you release its power. You shift your focus back to the truth you are whole. This practice of speaking to your pain and condition with authority is not a one-time action. It is a lifelong practice. You must live it every day, in every moment. Healing doesn't happen because you say something once. Healing happens because you say it with belief, conviction, and consistency. You continue to speak truth. You continue to align with divine intelligence, and over time, you will witness the miracles unfold. I also want to remind you that healing is never linear. It doesn't follow a predictable path. There may be days when you feel like you've taken one step forward and two steps back, and that's okay. The process of healing is fluid. It doesn't happen in a straight line. There are ups and downs, twists and turns. But every time you speak your truth, you are moving closer to the healing you desire. Every affirmation, every prayer, every moment of faith is another step toward wholeness. Do not judge your progress by what you see in the moment. Healing happens in the unseen realms first, in your subconscious mind, in your beliefs, in your alignment with divine truth. Just as a seed does not sprout the moment it is planted, healing is often an invisible process that is happening beneath the surface in ways you cannot yet see. But as you remain consistent, as you continue to affirm your truth, you will see the results in time. Now, let's talk about forgiveness, not as a distant concept, but as a healing practice that can profoundly shift your experience. Many people carry emotional burdens, anger, resentment, guilt, or shame that can manifest as physical illness or emotional pain. Forgiveness is a vital part of the healing process because it releases the energy of the past that keeps you tethered to pain and suffering. You may think that forgiveness is for the other person, but in truth, forgiveness is for you. It is a release, a letting go of the negative energy you've been holding on to. It doesn't mean condoning the actions of others. It means you are choosing to release yourself from the prison of resentment and pain. When you forgive, you free yourself to heal. You don't have to force forgiveness. You simply need to choose it. Speak to your anger. Speak to your pain, your grief, and your fear. Acknowledge the feelings, but don't hold on to them. Let them go. Forgiveness is a declaration of freedom. It's a declaration that you are no longer bound by the actions of others and that your healing is more important than carrying the weight of the past. As you forgive, you begin to release the emotional blocks that have been preventing healing from flowing through you. You make room for peace. You make room for love. And that is the space in which healing can fully occur. As you continue on this path, one of the most powerful tools you can use is the power of visualization. This is the process of seeing yourself as healthy, whole, and healed. Imagine your body in perfect alignment, your mind free of fear, and your emotions filled with peace and joy. Visualize the outcome you desire. See yourself living your life as if you are already healed. Feel the emotions of what that healing looks like. Visualization is a powerful tool because it helps to shift your mindset. It trains your subconscious mind to accept healing as your reality. The more you visualize yourself in perfect health, the more your body and mind begin to align with that image. The more you feel that sense of health, the more you invite it into your experience. But remember, the key is belief. It's not enough to visualize the outcome. You must believe in the reality of what you're visualizing. If you truly believe that healing is possible and already unfolding, your mind will start to make it so. Your body will begin to mirror the changes your subconscious is making. And soon, your outer world will begin to reflect the healing that is taking place within. Now, I want you to take a moment and imagine your life a year from now. What would it feel like to look back and realize that you've healed, that you've let go of the fears and doubts that once held you back? What would it feel like to no longer identify with your pain, to no longer be ruled by illness, anxiety, or emotional suffering? That life is possible for you. It's already waiting for you, just as soon as you decide that it's time to fully embrace your healing. The journey may not always be easy, but it will always be worth it. Healing isn't about reaching a final destination. It's about becoming more in tune with the divine order that is always working within you. You have the power to heal your life. You have the divine intelligence within you. You have the authority to speak to your condition with confidence and to claim the healing you desire. The journey is not about asking for healing, it is about aligning with the healing that is already yours. And the more you do this, the more you will see the changes take place. So, I leave you with this: healing is already happening. It is unfolding with every thought, every word, and every act of faith. You are not waiting for something to happen. You are making it happen. You are a divine being, and your healing is part of your divine birthright. It is your natural state. Trust in your power. Trust in the divine intelligence within you. And most importantly, trust in the truth that you are already healed. As you walk this path, know that you are never alone. You are always connected to the source of all healing, and that connection is stronger than any condition you may face. And so it is. As we continue to explore this path of healing, I want to emphasize that this is your journey, and it's one that will be uniquely yours. While others may walk a similar path, the way you experience healing, the pace at which it unfolds, and the lessons you learn along the way will be deeply personal. And that's what makes this process so powerful: the opportunity to connect with your inner wisdom, your divine intelligence, and to rediscover the strength and peace that's always been within you. I understand that sometimes it can feel like the road to healing is long and uncertain. There may be days when the pain still lingers, when doubt creeps in, and when the mind tries to convince you that healing is too far out of reach. But I want you to know this: healing is always happening, even when you can't see it. Sometimes the changes are so subtle, so gradual, that they're easy to overlook. But every time you affirm your healing, every time you speak with authority and confidence, you are planting the seeds of change. These small shifts are building momentum, and as you continue to trust in the process, the results will become more and more evident. Healing is not a destination. It's an ongoing process that unfolds in its own perfect time. As you move through the days, be gentle with yourself. Healing requires patience. It requires self-compassion. If you experience moments of doubt, or if you feel like your progress is slow, remind yourself that the divine intelligence within you is always working. It does not give up on you, even if you have moments of uncertainty. When you trust the process, when you affirm your truth, healing unfolds. I want to remind you of something crucial: you are never powerless. Your thoughts, your words, and your beliefs have incredible power. The more you practice speaking to your pain, to your fears, to your doubts with authority and love, the more you align with the divine flow of healing energy that is constantly available to you. You are not a passive recipient of life's circumstances. You are an active participant in your own healing. As you continue to affirm your truth, whether through daily affirmations, meditation, or simply by speaking to yourself with kindness and love, you are constantly rewiring your subconscious mind. You are teaching it that healing is your natural state. You are showing it that you no longer identify with pain, suffering, or limitation. And most importantly, you are teaching yourself that you are worthy of all the healing peace and wholeness that the universe has to offer. There will be times when you may find yourself questioning the process. You might wonder, am I doing this right? Why doesn't it feel like I'm healing faster? The answer to that question is simple: healing happens in its own time. It's not something you can force. It's something you must allow. And as you let go of the need to control the outcome, as you release the urgency and surrender to the flow of divine order, you will begin to notice the changes, big and small. Every time you speak healing into your life, you are affirming that divine intelligence is at work. You are claiming your birthright of wholeness. And every time you speak those words of truth, you are creating the space for your body, mind, and spirit to align with your highest potential. This process is not about perfection. It's not about getting everything right all the time. It's about learning to trust. Trust that healing is already happening within you. Trust that you have the ability to heal. Trust that you are worthy of the peace and wholeness that you seek. When you trust, you allow. You release control and let divine intelligence do its work. You stop resisting and you begin to flow with the natural healing rhythm of life. The more you allow, the more healing flows. And as that healing flows through you, it will touch every part of your being, your physical body, your emotions, your relationships, and your mindset. Healing touches everything, and when healing touches everything, you begin to notice how your life begins to change. Your body becomes freer, your mind becomes clearer, your emotions begin to settle, your thoughts are filled with peace, and your inner world aligns with the outer reality you desire. This is the beauty of healing. It doesn't just heal the physical body, but it transforms your entire experience of life. You become more attuned to your inner wisdom. You begin to trust your own intuition. You begin to see the world around you through new eyes, and your experience shifts from one of limitation to one of possibility. You are no longer a victim of circumstances. You are the creator of your own reality. And as you walk this path, know that you are supported. You are not alone in this journey. Divine intelligence is always with you, guiding you, reassuring you, and helping you navigate through any doubts or challenges that arise. The universe is always conspiring in your favor, working behind the scenes to bring about the healing you desire. Your subconscious mind, which is incredibly powerful, is constantly working to bring your inner truth into your physical experience. So every time you affirm, "I am healed," or "divine order is restoring me," know that this is not wishful thinking. This is a declaration of truth. You are actively participating in the unfolding of your own healing, and with each word, you are getting closer to the experience of wholeness. And as you move closer to that experience, you will begin to feel a profound sense of peace. A peace that comes from within. A peace that does not depend on external circumstances, but comes from your deep knowing that healing is always at work within you. Let this peace be your guide. When doubt arises, return to the peace. When fear comes, return to the peace. When the pain seems overwhelming, return to the peace, because the peace is always there within you, waiting for you to remember it. It is the natural state of your being. And as you remember that peace, you will begin to notice how everything in your life aligns with it. You will see how your relationships improve, how your body becomes more vibrant, and how your emotions settle into a state of harmony. And that peace, that inner calm, will be the foundation for the healing that unfolds. Now, I want you to take a moment and feel into the truth of who you are. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and imagine the healing energy of the universe flowing into every part of your being. See this energy as a bright light. filling your body with peace, comfort, and restoration. Feel that energy surrounding you, soothing your mind, comforting your heart, and healing your body. This energy is not something you have to seek. It is already within you. It has always been there, waiting for you to align with it, waiting for you to acknowledge its presence. As you feel this energy, know that you are healing right now. It is happening. You don't need to see it to believe it. You don't need to know how it's happening to trust it. All you need to do is believe that healing is already at work. Trust in the process. Trust in the divine intelligence within you, and from this moment forward, allow that healing to unfold. Allow it to flow through you and bring about the transformation you deserve. You are worthy of this healing. You are worthy of peace. You are worthy of the life you desire. Healing is happening, and it is happening now. As we come to the final part of this message, I want you to understand something deeply profound. Healing is not just a gift you receive, it's a birthright that is always available to you. It is within you, in every fiber of your being, and it is waiting for your conscious awareness to align with it. The moment you accept this truth, the moment you embrace it fully, is the moment your healing begins to unfold in its most beautiful and miraculous form. Remember, healing isn't just about recovering from physical pain, illness, or injury. It's about the complete restoration of your entire being, your mind, your body, and your spirit. True healing is wholeness. It's a state of being where you are connected to the divine intelligence that flows through you, constantly restoring, renewing, and perfecting every aspect of your life. Every thought you think, every word you speak, and every emotion you feel has the power to either align with this divine intelligence or to resist it. When you choose to speak words of healing, when you choose to think thoughts of peace, and when you choose to act from a place of love, you invite that healing power to work within you and transform your experience. As you continue on your healing journey, keep in mind that this is a process of constant growth. You don't need to be perfect in your thoughts, in your actions, or in your affirmations. The key is persistence. The key is to keep showing up for yourself. Keep believing. Keep speaking your truth. Keep trusting that your body, your mind, and your spirit are responding to the words you speak and the intentions you set. And when challenges arise, when the pain comes back, when the fear creeps in, remember, you are not your pain. You are not your fear. You are the divine expression of health, wholeness, and well-being. You are the healer. The moment you reconnect with this truth, you regain your power. This process requires patience, and it requires you to be gentle with yourself. Healing doesn't happen overnight. It's not about a single declaration or affirmation. It's a commitment to constantly realigning with the divine intelligence that is always working within you. It's about consistently choosing to speak to your pain, not as an adversary, but as a temporary condition that you have the authority to transform. And through each step of the way, remind yourself healing is already happening. It's unfolding, even in the moments when you feel uncertain. The universe is conspiring to bring you back into balance, and as long as you remain open and willing, that balance will manifest. This is the essence of divine healing, the realization that you are never separated from the power of healing. You are not waiting for something to happen. It is already happening within you, through you, and around you. You are the creator of your experience, and the more you align with your inner truth, the more your external world will reflect it. And as you step forward, I want to remind you that this is just the beginning. Healing is not a destination. It is a continuous journey. Each day you get closer to your true self, the divine being that you are. As you speak to your pain with authority, as you claim your wholeness and live from that truth, you will witness transformations not just in your health, but in every area of your life. You will find greater peace, greater joy, and greater fulfillment. Your relationships will heal. Your circumstances will improve. Your life will begin to reflect the truth of your divine nature. You are not broken. You are whole. And as you claim that truth every single day, you will continue to witness the miraculous unfolding of your life. So today I invite you to take one final moment and affirm your healing. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and feel the power of divine intelligence flowing through you. Feel the healing light surrounding you, filling every cell, every tissue, every thought with peace and wholeness. Say it with conviction: I am healed. I am whole. I am aligned with divine intelligence. Healing flows through me now, restoring balance and peace to every part of my being. I trust the process of my healing. I trust that divine order is already at work. I am worthy of perfect health, and I claim it now. Feel the truth of these words, feel them deep within your being, and know that this healing is unfolding within you right now. You are powerful, you are divine, you are whole, and so it is.